So I've got a new Apple TV series that I'm watching called Murderbot, which it's interesting to say the least. This is a case of like everything I've seen from Apple TV has just been absolutely phenomenal. I'm really excited because the third season of Foundation is coming up in July, and I've absolutely loved that. C was really good with Jason Momoa. Obviously Severance. Anyway, they produce some really cool television. I don't know where this was going to go. The first two episodes just released the other day. I just watched the first episode. Um, it has an interesting concept. I don't know anything about it, but apparently it's based on a book series called The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells, who apparently is serving as a consulting producer on the show. It stars Alexander Skarsgård as the main character, and then it essentially, and I'm reading directly from the wiki brief here, it follows a partly human security cyborg that privately calls itself Murderbot after he hacks um, his governor drive that keeps him from harming humans, and then has to hide his freedom of thought from everybody while completing dangerous assignments while being simultaneously drawn to humans by also while also being appalled by their weaknesses. That's the description that it reads. And I think that this first episode portrays those things exceptionally well, especially Skarsgård's facial expressions throughout this entire first episode. So I'm gonna spoil everything in this first episode. So if you haven't watched it yet, go ahead and pause, go away, watch it, and come back because I don't do spoiler free. So without further ado, I'm gonna keep this open behind me because this page serves as my show notes. So Alexander Skarsgård serves as this like security robot who works for this, giant corporation in space, and he's been serving as like a security bot on these mining facilities, and he's essentially just there to keep the humans from harming themselves, which essentially means keeping them from harming each other. But over the course of time, he gets very bored of things, and he starts to hack his governing drive, which would allow him to harm humans, and he hacks it. Um, in the process of hacking it, in order to not get himself eliminated and taken care of, he decides not to do anything about the humans and continues to take jobs for the company while exploring the vastness of streaming television. And he ends up getting addicted to watching these shows. And my favorite part of this is the show he becomes enamored with is it's a show within a show, and it's called The Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon with Clark Gregg as a lieutenant, John Cho as a captain, who's having an affair with this robot who's a navigation machine, and the clips they show of that show while they're within the show of Murderbot, the level of comedy here is absolutely hilarious. So the first episode featured a lot of really dry dialogue, but the backstory here is essentially that he's watching all these television shows, and there is a group of like hippie space people who want to go off and they become this like survey team. It's a science team, right? That they decide they want to contract the services of the corporation to like rent this habitat and go to this planet and do science surveys. And the company won't let them contract the facilities without a security bot to go along with them. But they don't want to take a bot. And then when they realize they have to take a bot, they opt for the cheapest bot available, which is him, because he is several models outdated. And they end up taking him, and they get to the planet, and basically, some stuff starts to go wrong immediately. They start like defacing the company property by like painting it with hippie, their hippie love magic stuff. And he's mocking them the whole time while watching his television shows. And then eventually, one of the days when he's on watch, a giant centipede creature comes and essentially attacks a couple of the scientists, and he has to save them. And in the process of saving them, gets like a huge chunk of his side bitten out. And one of the scientists is in shock at like seeing this, and he ends up taking his mask off to show her his human face because he is basically a blend of um, organic. He's like an organic skin overlaid on top of a cybernetic body. So it's a combination of like human tissues and blood vessels and stuff with the computing. And in order to do that, to calm her down, and this creates some concerns with one of the scientists, who is played by David. I'm going to butcher his last name, Malkian, who I loved as Pieter in Dune, and also, God, he did something in James Gunn's Suicide Squad 2 as well. I can't remember what character he played. Anyway, he plays a member of the team, and he's totally sus about the robot because he's like, this thing, he took its face mask off. Like, he's not, that's outside of its protocol. Something's wrong with this security bot. And when they're back at the base, the team leader, um, Mensa, calls him out into the common room, and has him dress up in some of like their crew clothing, and he feels incredibly uncomfortable while he's standing there getting grilled by them, and he's being forced to do things that are completely outside of his programming. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. And he's the whole time he's like trying to lie while also not lying, because he's like, crap, I have to, like, they want him to give a speech, and he's like, shit, if I don't give a speech they'll know that I've broke my governor. I have to do what they tell me. So he has to give a speech, and it's super awkward and he can't come up with the words. It's great. um and basically we get this premise of he's going to be on site watching over this science team while trying to figure out what he's going to do with them, while hiding the fact that he's hacked his governing drive. Now, on top of all of this, he's having flashes of memory, several seconds of some sort of visual memory that he can't quite place. And I'm wondering in the back of my mind if this is tied to some of his past memories, maybe the human counterpart. I don't know. Maybe it's something from his past memory banks as a robot. It looks to be something traumatic where people are getting killed, but obviously the footage is very fuzzy and you can't exactly tell what's going on. So who knows where that's going to lead. I'm assuming that's going to be over the course of the series arc. There are 10 episodes planned at the moment, and it just started. So if you're going to get into this show, now's the perfect time. The first episode, I like the premise. From the trailers I saw, I was kind of anticipating a little bit more comedy. There was definitely comedy here in the first episode, but not as much as the trailers showed. So I'm wondering how much of that is just maybe we're going to get more comedy in the later episodes. Definitely lots of sarcasm, great writing. The cast is great. Skarsgård is phenomenal with his facial expressions in particular, because he's having to like fake emotions, like with these humans, so that they don't discover that he's actually hacked his governor. And so it's pretty amazing to see what he's going through here as an expressive, actor, emoting with his face essentially. So points for that. So it's an intriguing concept so far. I just watched the first episode. I'll probably catch the second episode tomorrow, and then they're going to be doing weekly after that, I think. So we'll see where the show goes from here. But I'll be throwing this one up on the channel. It was interesting enough for me to want to continue to watch. So let me know your thoughts if you've seen the episode yet. Drop those comments down below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. And I will see everybody in the next episode. And of course, all the other things that happen around the channel, between the TV shows, the movies, the games, and everything else. Daily streams at 5 a.m. Central on YouTube and Twitch. And I'll see everybody next time.